Hello again YouTube, it is Juki here once more, and this time I'm going to show you the French campaign. You see here, you got to hold 50 regions by the end of 1799, including France. So yeah, let's get started. As you can see here, you hold a fair few colonies over in the States, and well, I guess that's Canada, isn't it? Yeah, over in Canada, and you also hold, I think that's French Guiana there, and whatever that is, I can't actually remember its name right now. I'm so sorry, but yeah, you're a monarchy at the moment, but if you're not careful, that will soon turn into a republic with the French Revolution. If you're not careful and you don't look after your people, so be careful, because we all know how the French like to strike. I'll let you listen to the woman again. She has a bit of background information that I possibly don't. I'm not the greatest player at this game, admittedly.
Your first priority should be to bolster your armies through recruitment in order to adequately patrol France's extensive borders. The Alsace region to the east could be under threat. The inhabitants are largely German speakers, so Prussia or Austria may try to take it back in an attempt to forge a single German empire. However, a protracted land war with either of these nations may prove unwise, despite the strength and reputation of the French army. The territories of the Holy Roman Empire to the east are good Catholic populations under the corrupt yoke of heretic Lutheran masters. As such, the territories of Rhineland and Württemberg are potential targets for a Catholic French army wishing to bring the true religion back to the faithful. Also, look to expand your foothold in the new worlds of America and India before the British colonize both continents, therefore becoming too powerful to keep in check. There are still unexplored native territories on the American continent, although the Spanish have begun expansion in that direction, so time is of the essence. In India, the landscape is changing. The old Mughal Empire is starting to collapse and lose territory to their Maratha rivals. The British, Dutch and Portuguese are all active in this theatre, so you should make alliances and secure territory before they do. Make trade agreements in order to sell your colonial resources. Open as many trade routes as possible between France and her colonies, and patrol routes against attack as much as possible. An alliance with Spain may also be fruitful, acting as a counterbalance to the current British monopoly in America.
Well, that was extensive, eh? Right, let's get started, I guess. In Europe, you're pretty much sorted, except for the eastern borders, where you got places like Savoy and what's this? Oh, that's Alsace-Lorraine. I should have known that. I'm sorry. Yeah, you got Württemberg there. You got Köln. The Spanish will pretty much keep you sheltered from the Dutch, except for by sea. Other than that, these are all little tiny countries, nations for part of the Holy Roman Empire that aren't really doing much. They're just there. They fight each other now and then. But yeah, so you might want to start expanding east. You could start heading out and taking some of these islands, like the British should, if they follow my rules. For example, Corsica is actually a French part of France at the moment, so no reason you shouldn't have that. Why should the Genoans have it? The Ottoman Empire is really weak, so that could provide some easy pickings if you go for places like Istanbul and Sofia, maybe even Moldavia over there. That's getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Right now, you should really just protect these borders. England won't. Oh, I'd say they won't. I don't know. They probably won't attack you, but just keep some ships out, like this little guy here, just to keep an eye on things. But other than that, yeah, you could even send some ships down here to try and take out the Barbary States, and even Morocco if you're feeling brave. Yeah, so let's move on to America. As you can see, the French have an extensive network of what do you call them? Colonies. That's the word. Thank you. You also have, I think, I've never actually played as France, but I know what you should do because I'm smart. You have Louisiana, and if you play your cards right and are very good to them, you'll get the Louisiana territory in the same way that the British get the 13 colonies. So if and when you get them, you can just start expanding south. Maybe start a war with Spain if you're feeling brave. Yeah, it's part of Spain as well. Other than that, it's the same deal as with the British. You just take out as many of the Indian nations as you possibly can. In fact, here you're probably better suited to do that because you've got territories around here to actually go and take these places. You could even start the war with the British there if you wanted to, or sorry, there. Yeah, you want to try and get to India as fast as you can. The French don't exactly have a history of being in India, but I'm sure you could write your own history. Probably places like Sindh and Punjab, probably the best places to take, and you can start expanding east and west. We know that Napoleon had big ambitions in Egypt. In fact, he had an extensive campaign down there. You can kind of see why. So yeah, if you manage to take out some of the old Ottoman places, you start expanding southeast, then it by all means do that if you can, because that would be very, very useful. Trade on a colonial scale, sorry, colonial? No, not trade theatres, that's the word I'm looking for. It's quite easy actually. You've got, for example, you've got a territory right here where you can send ships away. If you can spawn them here, I think you can. Yeah, you can spawn the Indian man ships, send them straight over to the trade theatres, and you've got yourself a nice little trade pile. Let's see, in way of relations, most countries are, they don't mind you that much. You're looking for the Catholic nations mostly, so Spain, Poland maybe. Austria doesn't like you, of course, because they're Austrians, they don't like anyone. But all the little German countries, they're not too hard to take over, and they're already Catholic, so that's nice and easy. Places like, I'm just trying to think. You want to get trade agreements with as many of these as possible to start with. Getting yourself a nice little pile. You see France is an absolute monarchy, and yeah, you can fire all these people. They don't know what they're doing. In fact, no, I'm not going to bother. I'm not playing this game at all. Not very popular, as you can see. So that will go soon, probably, unless you're quite good. It'll turn into the French Revolution. And yeah, that's really all I can think of to tell you right now. See, I'll show you what you can build in France. Not much. But yeah, we got some forts as well. Okay, bye YouTube.